Let's like you say, let's
Yeah,
transition.
yeah. Because
Did you know I was crying the whole time we watched Rise?
no, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh my gosh, I cried like a baby from like 10 minutes into Hope. When
So what was so emotionally inspiration to you that made you cry?
that's what it is. I don't I'm to the point now to where I really enjoy crying. When I was younger, I used to try to hold it back. Like I would never cry, and that was something that I would hold as a like I would hold that as a trophy to myself, is that I don't be crying during movies because they're just movies. Whereas now I try my best to, if I could get some tears out, I'm gonna get these tears out. But it's not sad moments in movies that make me cry, because that just makes me angry. Like when he went to, let me stop. The movie Rise is basically the story of Giannis Antetokounmpo growing up. I am a huge basketball fan, and he's one of my favorite players. I honestly believe right now he's the second greatest power forward to ever play the game of basketball, and I think that there's an argument that Tim Duncan wasn't even really a power forward. Okay, so in that story, they didn't focus too much on the downsides. Like, they showed them, but they didn't hyper focus on them.
Right.
It's the moments. I almost felt it coming out. It's the moments where they legitimately rose, like how the name, like when I almost fell apart at the part where he went to the tryout while his brother was injured, and his dad was like, "Man, I can't watch this. Like, I got to go outside."
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling it coming now.
Cry.
But like, and then so they didn't show him in the tryout. It was whoever directed this. Hold on one second. I'm gonna look up whoever directed it and put their name somewhere around this. But whoever did a phenomenal job. And so they didn't show him in the tryout. They showed his dad outside basically stressing about him in the tryout. His dad was like, I couldn't do. And when his brother came outside and was like, "Yo, Giannis, he dominated," and man, I just started to yes. Like, I'll give some context. The first time I ever cried during a movie, and I think this movie exists somewhere around here. I'm not about to go through all of these movies. I was watching what's the name of the movie with Will Smith and his son? The first movie his son was in, where he was he was traveling around trying to sell his product to the
Right. I know the movie you're talking about. It's called I know the movie like off the back of my hand.
It's not 7 pounds, and I don't know why that name keeps coming to me. Oh, I guess my microphone just wants to trip out on me right now. Will Smith and Jay. Oops.
And I see it.
Jaden Smith.
I know that movie well, and I'm getting old, folks. I'm getting old because my memory is not what it used to be. He's static.
Anyway, The Pursuit of Happiness. And the thing is, that whole movie, it didn't, like, I'm going to say it again because there was static, The Pursuit of Happiness. During that entire movie, it was just like I was just straight-faced until the end, where he finally, like, things finally came together, and there was the scene of him walking through the crowd of people, and he just put his arms up like this, like, finally, you know what I'm saying?
But you know something, Marlon, you get that from your mom and everything, man, because she's just a bucket of tears when it comes anything that's like that. Because at the end of that movie, she cried too.
Cause it was beautiful, and I don't have kids, I don't even want kids, but it was just knowing everything that he had went through, and then that he was on the other side of it, and I'm still looking for that in my life, you know what I'm saying? And it's just...
And in my case, Marlon, I'm through the whole movie, I'm thinking, why that child ain't with his mama somewhere? Why you got this child sleeping out here homeless and everything? What I didn't like about that movie is that they didn't give us a better idea of where the mother was and everything, and why he had to have that child out there living out the dumpsters and stuff.
I mean, they didn't say what the mother was, but she wasn't with the child, and I think the fact of knowing that the child was with a caring father. Like, another part of the movie that got me was when he was in the store, broke, and the child was looking at the candy bar. He was like, "Yo, you want the candy bar? Like, get it." Kid's like, "No," because the kid knows we're broke, and he was like, "Get the candy bar." Like, just I think that they did a good enough job of showing the fact that he was with a caring, hardworking father that they didn't need to say why particularly he wasn't with the mother.
But see, people with inquiring minds like mine, I want to know if this mother is somewhere where she's living under a roof comfortable.
Well, they didn't establish that either.
Why couldn't? That's what I'm saying. They didn't say anything about the mother.
So if they had established that she was comfortable,
then the child could have been with the mother, but then the movie wouldn't have been nothing.
But I'm saying, like, they if they did establish that she was somewhere and that she was comfortable, then the question would come to mind: why doesn't he stay with the mother? But I think that in them not explaining it, it subtly showed that, like, hey, as a man, you are more in raising a child than just financially what you bring to the table. Because, like, you were never jobless growing up or anything like that.
Well, you never knew about it. I've been times when I needed a job. I didn't have no kids and nothing like that. Well, that's what
I'm talking about in my upbringing. But like, still, if somebody says to me, what was the most significance of your dad growing up, your monetary contribution would be like 30th on the list if it showed up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that in the way that they did that, it did enough. Like, I think that it spoke to that yeah, as a man, you bringing to the table caring about the child is also a significant aspect of its upbringing.
Well, I agree with that because I've been in sales before. I sold cars up in Atlanta at Hadeville Lincoln Mercury. I also sold.
We're not sponsored by them. They didn't pay us for that.
I'm sorry. I've sold insurance, and I've been a salesperson of a lot of different things. I was good at it because I had a decent smile.
What happened to it?
My teeth started to spread, so I don't.
Mine are too. I want to go.
I don't do it as much.
I want to go get mine taken care of. Like, I want to go. I don't want to say take care of. Like, they're still pretty nice. Yeah. But like, I would like them to be perfect again. Like, when I say I went through a time period in my life where it was like I didn't even have to talk to people. All I had to do was just smile, and they just assumed I was a good person.
We paid a lot for them braces. That's why that smile was so nice. Them braces. Oh, how many years you wore them? About 4 years?
No, I wore braces for a year and a half.
Really? I thought you got them in high school and was wearing them up in at college.
I got braces sometime between my senior prom and my graduation, which were a month apart, and I got them off first semester of my sophomore year of college.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Like, the only full year of schooling that I had braces was my freshman year of college.
Oh, okay.
No, because my teeth weren't that bad. It's just I had that one tooth that didn't fall out, so the other one started growing in behind it. But outside of, like, I mean, you could look at, genetically speaking, I have really nice teeth. Like, if you look at you and Mommy's wedding photos, none of y'all had braces, and y'all both had perfect smiles.
Yeah, we should have put braces on Mark teeth too, though.
But I mean, even if Mark got braces, he wouldn't need braces for 4 years.
No.
He would probably have them for a year and a half, like how I did.
Yeah. You're right. Y'all had some nice teeth anyway.
Yeah, so that was what that was. But we got off topic of the movie Rise.
Yeah.
It was such a great movie. One thing going into the movie though, I was bothered because I just knew they were gonna hyper focus on the fact that Giannis and his brother used to wear the same shoes. Because I've watched a lot of stuff about Giannis's upbringing, like different documentaries and stuff like that, interviews. And they always just put too much attention to the fact that him and his brother couldn't play at the same time because they were sharing shoes. And it's like, I didn't want to hear it.
And that was the coach's fault. If you got two athletes that's playing for you and you see that the family's in a situation where they can't have two pair of sneakers and you can't get a pair of sneakers for one of your star players, you trash.
Like
he was trash.
I feel like the coach, he did what he could. We don't know that the coach was in a position to be able to get these shoes, but I like the fact that
he's a coach though.
I like the fact that they did address it, but they made it such a small part, and then they almost brushed over it. Like, they just showed some white kids laughing real quick, and then they turned it to him being like, yo, just go out there and kill these people. You know, they trying to not literally murder these people, but just, like, go out there and kill. comma, these people are trying to make it seem like because we're in this financial situation that is this, that, and the third, and it's like, bro, you about to be a 2-time MVP one day. So I thought that was just beautiful to me how they handled that. And then it was crazy because I'm watching the draft. And I specifically have, for some reason, I watch a lot of basketball videos on YouTube, and I'll fall asleep and wake up, and the whole draft that Giannis was in is on YouTube, and I'll wake up. I've seen that draft a million times, and they just the way that they built the tension, me knowing who was going to draft him, when they were going to draft him, in the whole situation was just everything about how they carried out that movie was it was emotionally wrenching to my heart, and I'm never gonna watch it again because I don't need to lose that many fluids.
And my thing about the movie is that I felt they should have did a little bit more build up on his basketball skills and the playing and everything. They focused a lot on his family and all that, but they didn't focus on him playing and getting where he was for his skills. Cause
I mean, they did address some things. Like, another story that they used to hyper focus on when talking about Giannis was the fact that he would sleep in the gym, and that was just another thing that I kind of feel like they tried to brush over the stories that we already knew.
But well, you already knew. People like me who don't follow Giannis like that, I didn't know any of those things, and they showed Giannis in a couple of games where he didn't do anything, and then the next thing you know, he's killing at the tryouts, and then the next thing you know, he's being drafted by the NBA.
I mean, and this is a personal thing because, like you say, I already know the story of how hard he had to work to become good at basketball. I like the fact that they didn't make it a basketball movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I'm not saying make it a basketball movie, but show some of his accomplishments on the court. Even the tryouts, they didn't even show. They didn't show.
Well, like I just said, that was I thought that was phenomenal direction that they didn't actually show the tryouts, but that's just because of the emotion. I think that it was. I don't know that it was supposed to be a sports movie as much as like a drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was supposed to be a story of a person, not necessarily like that particular aspect of his background. Because it's always been with Giannis, oh, family comes first. Family's most important. Like, apparently, Giannis, when he got his first check from the NBA, he still had to, like, run to the stadium to get to his games because he just sent the whole thing to his family. Like, I think that the way that they really built up the family bond, I think that was more so the focus of the movie than necessarily this guy worked hard at basketball and got to the NBA, because there's 500 stories of that every year. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the NBA works hard, but like, what it kind of goes back to like when he was sitting with the Nike representative and they were like, what makes you different than everybody else in this draft? He didn't say, oh, because I worked harder than everybody in the gym. He said, because like I went through this mess. You know what I'm saying? I went through all of this crap and I'm here now. Mm-hmm. And I thought that telling that side of the story, because like, if you want to find the other sides of the story, the less emotional, less family-oriented sides of the story, they're everywhere. They're in the NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think that aspect of telling of the story was, I think it was very crucial in making the story as powerful as it was when relayed to movie.
Well, bottom line, I really enjoyed it myself, but I was like, man, they just got him going from learning how to play basketball. He went to one camp, and now he's in the NBA being drafted.
I mean, but then also I think they did a decent amount of, like, they did a decent job in the beginning showing that he was very, like, dedicated, while at the same time they did a decent job with showing how much time was passing. So I feel like you could just assume somebody that's that dedicated, they did show that he was sleeping in the gym and he was working out by himself. He was working out in the rain. His brother Giannis, which I didn't know Giannis was a bucket like that when I didn't know he was the one growing up that was the real like deal. They showed him beating up on Giannis on the court, like beating him bad. They showed the like when his dad came and gave him the shoes. I just mentioned they were out in the rain, but like that's what happened. That like they showed that he was putting in work. Like, they didn't make it seem like he was just around hanging out. Like, from the time where he first started playing basketball, they didn't show him do other stuff. So in my mind, I could understand that he was putting in the work while simultaneously time was passing. So you can only assume that work plus time equals progress.
Okay, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. What was the